Our minds are obviously running wild, and we don't know who was in the house, but we're kind of led to believe that someone was.
Hey guys, what is up? Today I am here with Loey Lane and Miss Hailey Reese. This is going to be part 2 to our first Mary Grave videos that we did that...
It's Mary's grave.
Mary's Grave.
You don't even know what it is, and this is literally where you live.
I'm fake.
You are a...
Those videos went kind of badly. If you guys didn't see that, make sure you go check out part 1s on both their channels and my channel.
In part 2, we went over to Mary's playhouse, clubhouse kind of deal, where she supposedly tortured animals before her untimely passing. It was very interesting, to say the least, in both videos, so that's what part 2 is going to be. For part 2 on your channel, though, we're going to be kind of circling back to the house because we have a lot left to say about it.
I haven't stopped thinking about it ever since we left. The more that we consider everything that happened, the more that we piece things together, the stranger this has all really become to us, and it's just become something we just need to talk about.
We want to tell you guys our theories, both paranormal and kind of real world. I want to make a quick side note. It is so weird to me that every time that the three of us do a paranormal video together, we're always more afraid of a real person by the end.
Yeah, that is true.
This time is the scariest.
I want to start with the paranormal aspect of the whole thing. In part 1, you saw when I was in front of the house, the abandoned house, might I add, a candle was lit in the window.
I cannot begin to express to you that we were staring at this house. We were marveling at this house, just in awe at it. And we would have noticed a lit LED kind of candle in the window had there been one when we arrived. It was in the very top window. It literally seemed like it came out of nowhere.
So one of the myths of Mary's Grave is that when you drive past it at night, however many people you have in your car, that's how many of these lit candles are supposed to be in the windows. I don't know if being in front of the house signifies it, but my dad was in front of the house when there was one lit candle in the window. And let me just add right now, at the end, when you saw the other lit candle in the window, the cop was in front of the house too.
So there were 2 people that were technically in front of the house. Even though we were all in the driveway, there was a second lit candle, might I add, that we can't account for in any of the footage walking into the house. There was a second candle when we left. So the candle thing is terrifying, and both of them came out of nowhere.
The candle theory and everything that we had seen was probably one of the most shocking pieces of evidence I've ever came across as far as an urban legend goes, and seeing something really manifest in front of me. There's only one logical explanation as far as that candle, and we're more so leaning towards perhaps it may not have been paranormal, because I'm telling you, this candle was lit. This candle was just so...
It was just there. Like,
I'm speechless, and I'm never speechless.
I feel like I completely zoned out for that part of the video and just stared at you, because remembering how I looked up and I said, guys, there's a camera, and then I realized, no, it's a candle.
I didn't know which one I was more relieved to hear.
I don't know which one I was more relieved to hear. So basically, when we first got to the house, we had a specific idea on how we were going to divide up the videos, and something that was very interesting is we had sat down and planned this forever, and you looked at me and you were like, can I please do a spirit box right here on this bench? And I was like, yeah, of course.
Mind you, right when I had first walked up to the house, the first thing I did was sit down on this bench. I just felt
it was so
you have it in footage.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
The first thing I did was sit on this bench, and right away I felt this like sense of connection, like we need to conduct a session. I wasn't supposed to do a spirit box session at the house.
The house was supposed to be my thing, but she felt such a draw to this area. I think it's so interesting now in hindsight, Hailey. Your spirit box, and the reason that you had that feeling is the reason I didn't do the spirit box by the cellar. Because remember, I wanted to get right next to it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And we will talk about that part later.
You guys will understand it, but just remember that. So
when Hailey was conducting her spirit box, we kept hearing a little girl going hi, and we thought, oh my god, Mary is real. Like, this is Mary. And we kept thinking she was gonna come through, and then a man's voice, leave, don't come back, like saying these deep, dark, like, leave, don't come back. And then out of nowhere we hear a little girl, oh god, I can't even. We kept saying to the little girl, can the little girl speak now? Can the little girl come back? I remember she said, can you hear me?
In exactly that tone too.
And then right after, oh, I have tears in my eyes. Right after that, leave, don't come back. It was 100% a warning to get out.
Never once during this spirit box session did I have any sense of fear. This thing was telling me to leave, and I so calmly said, well, we're not going to be doing that right now.
Yeah, you were like, well, we're not going to do that.
I want us to leave. Like, I felt footsteps because we were standing on like a wooden porch, and I would like feel footsteps like walking around.
The spirit box, after you said why, the spirit box said him, and it said boy, and we thought it was talking about Andrew.
Was it not?
And it wasn't.
Oh, thank God.
We said, why do you want us to leave? And it said him. It said boy.
What if the footsteps were real?
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get into that.
This is why I'm so glad that we do recap videos on your channel sometimes, because we can sit back and really look at all of this.
Reflect, yeah. So fast forward a little, we went to go do Hailey's video at the Clubhouse where she did all her torturing to the animals.
You just made it sound like Hailey tortures animals. Hailey loves animals. Mary tortured animals.
So we went to do Hailey's video over there. We were using the spirit box and everything, and none of us really felt much. I mean, obviously little weird things were happening, like the bear's arm moving and stuff like that,
and
but
there was other things that happened towards the end of our like kind of investigation that were sort of like, oh my God.
It's like, I definitely think it's haunted to some degree, because Stony Brook in general is a very haunted area. So I definitely think that area is haunted to some degree, but maybe it's not the ghosts or the spirits that everyone thinks. We didn't feel much there, which leads us to the conspiracy theory that we have all been talking about.
And this is so much darker than anything paranormal could ever be.
I very, 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 very seriously want to stress to you guys that we are not making any form of accusations towards the home. We are not making any form of accusations towards the owner. In fact, we don't even know who the owner is. We mean nothing but respect towards him and his property.
And this video is literally just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
This is not to slander anybody. This is not to say anything negative about anybody. This is just, our minds are obviously running wild. And we don't know who was in the house, but we're kind of led to believe that someone was.
What we have pieced together is strictly pieced together based off of every true crime video we've ever seen, but on top of that, every horror film. Made our minds wander to places that I truly wish it didn't.
I think I want to start with just saying how I felt when we were at the house, and what I reiterated so many times. I thought that it was this deep-seated thing inside of me that it's like, you're not supposed to be in someone else's house. You're not supposed to be on someone else's property. I asked you before I even got here, are you sure that place is abandoned? Are you sure no one lives there? Like, because it's unbelievable. The place isn't vandalized for the most part.
The windows are
all broken.
The doors are open.
Yeah, the doors are open. But at the end of the day, you could look at it and it would look like a really, really, really rundown house.
Wait a second. But if the guy lives there, he unlocks that chain and pulls back that crooked gate every time he wants to pull into his driveway? Where does he keep his car?
That's the other thing, is there was no car there.
There never is. I mean,
there's no electricity running in that house.
The windows are broke all year round. It snows here. It snows here. It rains here. It storms here. It's hot here. It's cold here. There's no way someone could live in there with no electricity and with all the windows broke.
Inside the broken window, and everything was covered in a thick layer of dust that you would find in an abandoned antique shop.
And moved around in random places.
If the owner signed an affidavit stating that nobody is allowed on the property because he lives there, and that Mary isn't here and whatever else the cop was saying to us, why are there candles in the windows? Why is there Mary written in an open basement door in red paint for everybody who goes up there to see?
In an open basement door.
Next to a little girl's dress.
There is just gates and chains covering that basement door, and it's like intentionally creepy. When I first saw it, I was like, somebody did this to like screw with us, you know what I mean? So not us, but just people in general.
To the point where the police officer agreed. He said that he's not doing any favors by playing into these myths with these candles and with the Marys, and not getting a proper fence, and not properly putting trespassing signs up, and not properly showing that somebody truly is there. It honest to goodness looks abandoned.
If Mary's grave is so heavily talked about in Long Island, Stony Brook University is just like a mile or two away, which is obviously a huge university filled with college students who all hear about Mary's grave. If it's so heavily talked about, why would he keep these candles in the window? Why would he put a little girl's dress there? Why would there be Mary written on the wall in the basement in finger paint?
Sorry.
No, keep going.
Which leads me into the most terrifying theory based off of Loey repeatedly saying she sensed a human there, that she sensed that there was someone in the house. The scariest theory in my mind is that somebody was in there placing the candles in the window.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that logically makes sense. Because at the end of the day, even if we miss that first candle, I have looked over our footage repeatedly. There was not a lit candle in the window when we came up to the house, but there was a lit candle when we left. If somebody was truly living there and doesn't want any kids on their lawn, why is the fence broken? Why is there no trespassing signs? Why is there Mary written on the wall in what looks like blood, a little girl's dress, an open door? There are gates closing it off because they want you to see into that cellar that I almost did an EVP session this far from. And I told you, Hailey, when I was doing it, I said, I just want to go stand by it, but I feel so scared. I feel like somebody's gonna grab me.
And you never ever say this. You were saying you're really scared, but not for the paranormal.
I felt it down to my core that someone was there. I kept thinking I was gonna look in. Who knows why I felt that, but I did. And then we find out from the police officer that not only is the property not owned by the city, it's owned by a person, but that somebody supposedly lives there.
I need to tell you, we need to tell you, the most alarming, terrifying, and shocking piece of evidence we accumulated over this day.
This is what I've been waiting for in this video. The queen of selfies over here. She decided to stand in front of the house with her back toward the house and just take a bunch of selfies, like burst a bunch of selfies.
And video.
They were on Snapchat, so it wasn't even on burst, so it's not like I caught something slowly moving into the frame or anything. But Andrew, I have a few videos, or I have a video and I have a few selfies, so I'm just gonna send them to you so they can clearly see that in the left side of the house, look over to that left side, you guys, you can clearly see straight through. You can see the light coming in on the other side. And then I took a photo where something is blocking the light source.
And it's a big window. It was, you could see a big portion of light, and in this second photo, it was completely blocked.
And I didn't move. And if I had moved a little bit, the video proves that no matter how I had moved in that situation,
there was nothing that covered that window.
Yeah.
The picture looks exactly the same, like it's lined up exactly the same, but we do have that video for extra proof. Obviously, we could have face-tuned it. We could have done anything, but I will swear on my family's life, we didn't touch it.
On everything. I would swear on anything that this isn't a lie, that this is real.
I literally swear over my mother, who is like the most precious thing on this earth to me, like.
Which clearly the guy does live there. I mean, the cops, we got kicked out by the cops, so clearly the guy does live there. It could have been him, but everything else just makes it so creepy.
There's two more things that I really want to say that like I don't want to lose train of thought of because it is so terrifying. The first is, you will see throughout my video, we kept hearing and feeling footsteps. Then there's something appearing within the window as if there may have been a person watching us. But secondly, he said to the officer, well, is he home? And the officer was like, oh no, I couldn't imagine him being home, or else I would have gotten a call straight from him. But we now have a theory that he was home, which leads us into the sense of why would, or perhaps could, somebody be luring people towards that basement because it's wide open where Mary is and there's a kid's dress. And had we have went inside of it, what would have happened to us?
We have now confirmation from law enforcement that somebody owns the house, and supposedly the way that he made it sound was that definitely someone lives there. We are seeing things move in a window, and whether they were paranormal or real, it did really seem like someone was in the house while we were there.
And the candles.
But where the paranormal and what was real kind of ties in goes back to your spirit box session on that porch. It goes back to me saying, I feel like someone is beneath the porch. It goes back to us saying that we kept hearing footsteps. We kept feeling someone behind us. There was somebody there. Whatever was coming through on the spirit box, I believe was trying to scare us off. At the time, I was like, it's Mary, and the man is like a man who tortured her. But now I think it was just spirits telling us to get out of there.
You know, our theory is that the man who lives there painted this horrible image of like a little girl. So when you're going there, you're just thinking about a little girl, you're scared of a little girl, and paranormal, and you're not thinking of what truly exists there, like in our world, you know what I mean?
And again, this is a theory about a fictional person who we have no idea is real or not. Again, we cannot make any kind of assumptions. We can't say anything except to stay away from this place, but what we can say is in our minds that are running rampant, this fictional person would be luring people there and feeding into this urban legend.
With the candles, with the dress, with the bloody name, with the open doors, with the broken windows.
To do what? Like, explain that. If someone truly lives there, if someone truly is calling the police to get people off the property, why are they luring people there?
I just can't wrap my head around it. I have no idea.
This is the point in Andrew's video where we encourage you guys to leave comments down below and let us know your theories. Let us know if you think we're stretching. Let us know if you think it's paranormal. Let us know if you think there was a real person there, because we have tried to theorize about this for hours upon hours since it occurred. In the most non-judgmental way of whoever owns the house and of whatever occurred there. Please take from this that we put ourselves in a very scary and a very dangerous situation that could have ended horrifically. Please take this for what it is in that sense, and please never put yourself in a position like that, because had there been a man, whether he owned the house or not, within it, waiting for perhaps somebody to go into that basement, waiting for perhaps somebody to enter the premises and had ill intentions, we may or may not have been here.
We had a huge video idea planned that I wanted to do for so long, and that was the Montauk Project and how it ties into Stranger Things and just all that. We were gonna go to Montauk because it's only about an hour away. We were gonna go there today. We found out last night, because we double checked after what happened at Mary's grave, we found out that there were no trespassing signs everywhere and that we shouldn't be there. And we learned from our mistake, and we're not going there today. And I'm really sorry because I want to do that video for you guys, but
I think that the biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this is to be safe in these kinds of situations. But if you live in Long Island, if you visit New York, if you know about Mary's grave, do not go to it. I don't want our videos to encourage anyone.
With that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this series, this little mini series on our channels, and did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment your theories down below. We would love to read through those and see them. We did do part 1s and part 2s.
I'm so proud of us.
On your channels, so go check those out. I'm sure you guys have already seen them, but they're going to be in the descriptions down below.
Thank you guys for watching this video.
Thanks for having us on your channel.
Yeah,
thanks for being on our channel. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Andrew's dad.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. And until next week, I will see you guys
next week.
Bye.
Bye.